What's up, everyone? This is a Samsung Z Flip 7 FE screen replacement guide. We're going to replace the inner screen. The outer screen isn't broken, so let's hope we don't break it. But before we do that, we're going to remove the bottom back glass of the phone on a heating pad for about 10 minutes at 140 degrees Fahrenheit. Then, once it's heated up, you can grab a suction cup. I like this one from iFixit. You can order it from them if you would like. Lift on the back glass and grab out some alcohol and put it around the edge of the back glass. Don't use too much alcohol, just a tad bit. I recommend using one of these alcohol squeezing tools, and I'll have a link of that in the description below, along with some other tools, just in case you need them. As I lift up on the back glass, there's space now for me to stick a plastic pry tool in between the glass and the frame of the phone. So I'll work my tool around the edges while applying more alcohol. It's the best way to get this thing off, and especially if you use a suction cup, you can pull on it and get some leverage and everything. So you don't want to instantly break it and have to pay for another part. If you find my guide helpful and you use my guide, please leave me a super thanks, a contribution to my channel. It really helps me make videos and make better quality videos for you guys. If you do decide to try to repair your Samsung Z Flip, there is repair at your own risk. I just want to make sure I tell you that. Because something could go wrong and you won't like it. Wow, Samsung really made the adhesive really strong. It's kind of hard to pull off, but I managed to get underneath it so I could pull it off without breaking it. I may make the repair look easy to do, but if it is looking too difficult for you to do, you can always email me, mark@worthitRepairs.com. Once you have the back glass removed, you can grab out a PH000 screwdriver, and remember where all the screws go. Not like other Samsungs, this Samsung, the screw sizes do matter where they go back in. Next, you'll want to disconnect the battery with a plastic spudger, which is this connection right here. And this is the main battery for the phone, so it shouldn't turn on after that. And I double checked that theory after I disconnected it, and that isn't in the video, just so you know. You can grab the wireless charging pad and kind of slide it off as adhesive holding it down, and also use your plastic spudger to remove the adhesive. And then grab out your PH000 screwdriver and move the screws down by the charge port. Now you should be able to lift from the wireless charging pad and then pull out the loudspeaker at the same time. But mine was getting stuck on here. Yours might come out right away, but I grabbed out my metal pry tool and then pried it off in just a second here. Now we can disconnect the charge port, and I think it's probably the screen connection for the digitizer part of the screen. Then grab out the battery. There's these awesome pull tabs on Samsungs now. It beats Apple 100% on battery replacements or doing any sort of screen repair in general. Grab out the 2 screws holding down the charge port to get the charge port removed. Now, after we get the charge port out, it is time for the hard part, and we're going to have to remove the screen off the outer sided screen and hope we don't break it in the process. But if you don't want to break it, follow this guide because I don't break it during this repair. And that saved my customer a $75 bill additional to the repair. So you grab a plastic guitar pick or any plastic pry tool and use alcohol in the suction cup just like how you took off the back glass. And if it's already broken, you can just pry it off with a metal pry tool and then get out a plastic pry tool to work your way around the edges of it. Speaking of cost of parts, the part costs $250. I charge $350 to do this repair, just $100 additional to whatever the part costs. So if you want to mail in your repair, you can always email me, mark@worthitRepairs.com. How most people break this screen: using a metal pry tool, not being patient, and what would be the other thing? Not using the suction cup, but if it was cracked, why aren't you replacing it? So yeah, not using the suction cup. The next step, all right, we got the screen off, and now we got to get it off enough that we can get the connection off the board so we can get it completely removed. So I'll have to work my tool around the edge of where the connection is and try not to rip it off by accident or anything like that. I tried to take off this plastic bracket over the screen connection on this side of this bracket, but it wasn't working. So I had to pry off the screen completely, and I almost broke it by pulling on it too hard and could have ripped the ribbon cable right off the phone. But luckily, I know my strength, and I just have nerd strength, and it's perfect for repairs. Now we can try to pry off this pesky bracket, and then it went flinging off my desk somewhere, and I managed to find it, but luckily I was able to find it because it's not magnetic. It would be really hard to find if you dropped it on the floor or something. Use your PH000 screwdriver to remove all the screws. Just make sure that you keep them organized because they belong in certain spots. The dang screws like to magnetize to the frame of the phone, so putting it back together is extremely difficult because of that. So a good trick to use is tweezers, and hold the screw and then put your screwdriver right above it and push it directly down, or you could do it with your hand and push it in, but I recommend tweezers. It's a lot easier that way. But we'll get all the connections disconnected. We already disconnected the battery, and then we want to disconnect the screen's connections. I unscrew everything, so you don't actually have to unscrew this part unless it doesn't come in the new frame and housing. Mine did, so we'll show you the part in just a second as soon as we get this fully taken apart. Time to take out the main board. This board is what stores all the data on the phone, so you want to be very careful with it. Use a pointy end of your plastic spudger to try to push out the board. And then here I push the SIM card popper back, so then I'm able to pop out the board. Now for the most difficult part, taking out the front camera. You'll want to bend up some tweezers a little bit, or grab some bent up tweezers that you already have. Use a little bit of alcohol and rip out this piece of glue in between the camera and the frame of the phone. Here's the part. I got it from mobilecentrics.com. It's a service pack version, so that means it's a genuine part. It's packaged really well, so make sure you take off all the packaging. At the very end, I missed a part where there's some packaging over the battery connector, and it took me a while to get it connected and actually realize that there's actually packaging over top of it. But we'll take and put the board in, and I'm gonna speed this part up because if you already got this far and you got it taken apart, I know you can put it back together. Thank you for watching. And don't forget to leave me a super thanks for helping you save hundreds of dollars on the repair. If you use this guide, please leave me a contribution to my channel. Just $1. Thanks for watching. It was worth it.
Fix your tech with these marks.